Functional squat. So what I've noticed in today's fitness world is squatting is pretty much in every type of exercise possible. But there's a lot of leeway as far as how people are telling you should or shouldn't squat. Are you using weight? Are you not using weight? And what we're going to use is a totally weightless ball. And more so it's used to help extend the back muscles and give you something to remind yourself, not that you have what I call noodle arms, but you'll find that even a weightless ball is incredibly effective. My rule of thumb with my students is if you can't do something without a weight, you're not ready for a weight. So if you're used to squatting with weight, whether it be a barbell or a weighted ball, I want to encourage you to put that aside right now and just grab your inflated ball and remember again how we talked about blowing it up and give that a try and see how it goes. When you squat, the size of your squat is always going to be relative to what's going on with your hip sockets. Because not everybody has the same hip socket. Some of us have a deeper socket, so there's not as much range for rotation. Some of us have a more shallow socket, like myself. So I have much more rotation, especially externally, for my body to move. So you're going to have to tweak that accordingly, and I'll give you some tips and things to watch for. I want you to step, though, into what I call an A-frame stride. So here's my straddle. Here's my parallel. An A-frame is about 3.5 feet more or less for someone that's say like average 5'5". So it'll have to be tweaked accordingly. I am going to have you turn your feet forward, but this is where again you'll have to tweak and play with that, especially if you're feeling knee pain or you're feeling hip pain or clicking. Slight external rotation is going to be a lot different than having your feet parallel. The direction of the femur head and the hip socket totally changes. So when my feet are turned out and I'm squatting and moving back, it's going to have a totally different effect on not only the SI joint, but what that femur head is doing on the SI joint. I want you to have those femurs pushing straight back into the tight glute tissue that you're sitting and smushing all day long, rather than pushing into that sacral area and kind of jamming on the bone. So if I was in an upright squat, totally different position, totally different scenario, but we're folding. All right, so toes are forward, feet are parallel. Remember, there's a range. Watch again that the feet don't collapse, and the tighter the hip, the more the knee may change its angle, so just be aware of that. The goal is to really try to pay attention, though, to activating the outer thighs and hips, and again, deep core and pelvic core. Otherwise, that back is going to sway out like a U shape. So I'll take you through this nice and slow. We're using the ball, but know that you can just keep your hands on the hips. So my ball is at my heart center. Inhale here. Let's just stay here. Exhale. Knees bend. Hips push back, okay? My glutes, again, are pushing to the wall behind me without spurting out my belly. As I exhale and come down, I'm starting to feel that stretch in the glute tissue. Imagine trying to wiggle your sitting bone all the way through that tight tissue. Staying lifted through the belly without hunching or rounding. So as I sit back into that imaginary kindergartner's chair, I'm just going to keep my ball at my heart center. Lifting and contracting, I'm feeling lower glute and deep core. I'm in a sense slightly rounding or rolling up. Pelvis leads forward as my body extends back. Ball either stays at the heart center or extends and reaches towards the ceiling and then comes back to center again. As we use the ball, instead of just holding the ball, I want you to have your thumbs on the back, almost like you're going to inside the ball out. So again, those erector muscles and back muscles get a lot of length. Remember, we want a long, lean muscle rather than a short, bulky one. As we come forward again, exhale, knees bend, hips push back. Stay lifted through the core. Back muscles are nice and strong. Rising up. Hips glide forward as you uncurl. Press your ball to the sky. Exhale, shoot your hips back. Co-contract in the core, stretch through the glutes. Rise up, inhale. No strain on the neck. Exhale, my hips are leading in that extension. Lift, inhale. And exhale, shoot the hips back, stable in the feet. Rise up, inhale. Now we're going to add that extension through the arms. So bringing the ball into the chest, I can extend my arms forward alongside the ears rather than down by the chin, lifting up. Notice how my head is slightly dropped, and I'm uncoiling and extending back. Or I'm going to keep reaching forward. Deep core support, lots of length. Reach, reach, reach. Rising up. Inhale. And exhale, coming forward. Ball to the heart if necessary. Lift and extend. Forward and down. Lift. Inhale. Exhale. So you can see how I'm changing my arm positions depending on how effective I feel. So let's quick review. I can keep my ball at my chest. Forward exhale, lift, lift, lift. Come back up, no extension back at all. I can come forward, reach the ball out, lifting up. Back to center. Or I can stay reaching forward. Remember not to round. Lift, contract, extend, ball to the heart. Nice job. One thing I do want to remind you of is, remember back from our layered core muscles that we were talking about, is that an extension this way more effectively works that rectus abdominis and deep transversus muscle than a forward flexion. So if you're feeling a little quaky when you move back, or if you touch your core when you extend back, you're going to notice that that muscle feels really solid. The good news is you should not even have to worry about telling your body to co-contract or activate, because your body's in the right position. It's automatically doing it for you. So it's just a little bonus.